What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue coming at you with a Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 1 review and speculation. So, if you guys haven't already watched it, there's going to be spoilers ahead, so I suggest you guys go ahead and watch the episode. Once you're done watching the episode, come back over here and so you can jump in and join in the conversation. Alright, without any further ado, let's begin. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and talk about scene for scene what kind of happened throughout the episode and what I thought and how it ties into the books, the actual book, the story. The show has already gone farther past the books than George R.R. Martin has actually written, but I really like where the story is going. And so right off the bat, we kick off this episode with an insane scene with Arya finishing off the job that she started in the ending of season 6, where she used her skills as a faceless man to kind of take out the rest of Walder Frey's family and army. And it is an amazing scene. I think we all kind of knew what was happening. Some people might be confused about what's happening at first. If you did watch the end of last season, you remembered how it ended. You already knew that Arya was pulling a savage move on all these guys. The North remembers, and winter has come for the Freys. So that was a totally awesome scene. I'm really happy to see where the story goes, because we do see later on in the episode that Arya, she kind of sees that it's not all good versus evil. There are actually good men fighting perhaps on the wrong side or on the opposite side of you, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. She gets that scene later on in the episode where she's talking to some Lannister men who are coming over to the twins because of what she did to the Freys, and she just learns that she gets to see and interact with these young boys who are in a war. So they're just stuck fighting someone else's war. So just because they're Lannister men doesn't mean they're not good men at heart. So you see the kindness that the soldiers offer her in regards to giving her food and just letting her be a part of the group. And Arya, it looks like, has some sort of realization that yes, it's not all good versus evil in this world. There's a lot of gray area in there. So I really like that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of that scene, especially in contrast to what she did in the beginning of the episode. So there's another scene where it just cuts to a bunch of the Whites and White Walkers. As you can see that they even have a giant amongst their ranks, which is pretty awesome. It's kind of just a cutaway scene, but it's just letting you know there is a looming danger coming. So out of all these things happening right now, that's something to put in the back of your mind, not to forget. The real enemy is coming from the north. We also do see that Bran and Mira make it to the wall, and it was pretty awesome to see Dolorous Ed kind of question Bran to see if he was really Ned Stark's son, and Bran uses his kind of powers of the Three-Eyed Raven, since he's now the Three-Eyed Raven, to kind of just let Dolorous Ed know exactly what is going on, and Dolorous Ed knows immediately that, okay, I can trust these guys, and they bring Bran into the wall. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Bran's storyline, because we all know he's so powerful, but at the same time he's powerless, but without his legs. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to use Bran and his powers going forward. Then we get the scene with Jon talking to all the free folk. I thought this was really awesome because we get to see the duality between Jon and Sansa's point of views, and how the things they've experienced have shaped how they feel that you need to lead. And obviously we see Sansa, she thinks she's more jaded in what she's experienced, or at least that's her view. She wants to make sure that the Karstarks do not get any of their land back, and that the men who helped their side should be rewarded, whereas Jon wants to establish loyalty once again and unity for the North, and so he gets the rest of the remaining Karstarks and he makes them pledge allegiance once again, and he kind of unifies everybody. This was really awesome scene. You could see Littlefinger in the background. You could tell he's plotting some scheme to try and divide Jon and Sansa, and I'm thinking this whole thing is going to backfire in Littlefinger throughout the season. As we can see, Sansa later on in the episode is kind of a little bit more wise to what Littlefinger is doing, and she seems to be playing the game a little bit more. So I'm glad to see that, because I'm really tired of seeing the damsel in distress in regards to Sansa's character. We do see her talk to Brienne later on in the episode, saying that she knows exactly what Littlefinger wants. She knows that Littlefinger came in and saved the day, so she's kind of just playing the part right now. So I'm really excited to see how Sansa's going to deal with this, and the dynamic between her and Jon as well, because Jon really is upset about her questioning his authority in front of all the Northern Lords. So I'm hoping they don't take it that route throughout the season, and this is not a lingering theme. But I know it's going to be there, but I just hope it doesn't linger throughout the season, because I really hope they get over that whole issue and realize who the real enemy is. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Of course, we get Jaime and Cersei having their scene. She has this big, huge map on the floor, and she realizes, after talking with Jaime, she has enemies on all sides. And we can see right now that Jaime is completely loyal to Cersei still, but you get the sense that that's going to change throughout the season. And we do know that it is going to change if the prophecy of Magi or Maggie the Frog is correct. The little brother, who a lot of people speculate, the little brother being Jaime, may end up being Cersei's undoing. So we'll see if that actually happens in this season or the next season, but I'm really excited to see Cersei go kind of nuts in this season, and Jaime, how he reacts to that. And of course, we already see the first thing that Cersei does is she meets with Euron Greyjoy. Of course, Euron Greyjoy in the books is a really insane leader. It looks like, compared to the books where he wants to marry Daenerys and he has his brother Victarion try and go fetch Daenerys for him, over here he wants to marry Cersei in the show. So of course he promises Cersei that he will bring her a gift to prove that he will be loyal to her, and I'm really curious to see it as to what gift that is. I'm thinking the gift may be Tyrion, but I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong. I probably need to stew on this and watch the episode one more time to really think about it. But I love that Euron had that jab against Jaime, saying I have two free hands here available, because you do see the tension between Euron and Jaime, and I'm wondering if that tension is going to end up with them coming to blows later on in the season. So I'm really excited to that, and I think that is going to happen. I'm not sure if Euron's going to make it throughout this season, but I'll go ahead and make a prediction video later on, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so we get to see Sam over here doing his mentorship with all the Maesters, and I love how fast-paced the show is going. It doesn't seem to be wasting any time. Now, we have this dialogue and back and forth between him and a Maester, and this Maester actually believes him. He believes that Sam saw what he saw at the wall, and that he's telling the truth. But what's really great to see about this is the arrogance of the Maesters, and this is going to be ultimately, or potentially would be their undoing. The fact that the Maester believes the wall has stood for these many years and it has never fallen, and even if he believes Sam, he's thinking he doesn't really need to do anything. The Maesters just are going to do what they do, leave everything else alone, the wall will take care of itself. And of course, Sam knows better. Later on in the episode, we get Sam and Gilly looking through the books that they're not supposed to be looking through, that are forbidden to them. And of course, we learn that there is dragonglass on the island of Dragonstone. And we already knew that. There was a lot of speculation since maybe 2 seasons ago about how they're going to eventually defeat the White Walkers. And of course, they need dragonglass to kill them. So it's going to be really exciting to see how Jon ends up getting some of the dragonglass for himself. Late in the episode, we do see Sam tending to some of the prisoners, and we see a hand pop out, and they ask if the queen has landed yet, and it's a really dark figure, but it looks to be Jorah Mormont. So it's really interesting. How did Jorah Mormont end up in that cell that Sam is helping out? Okay, we have this, and this episode also gives us a scene with the Hound and the Brotherhood Without Banners in Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr. We get to see a little bit more of the human side with the Hound, and how the Hound, is really remorseful about the people who died in that cabin that they're in. And it's really interesting to see the Hound kind of question Beric Dondarrion on why the Lord of Light keeps bringing him back. There's got to be a purpose for him to do that, but the Hound really questions this whole faith thing, and then Thoros of Myr actually grabs the Hound, or doesn't grab the Hound, but calls him over to the fireplace to kind of open the Hound's eyes. And then it's really interesting to see that the Hound actually sees what Thoros is seeing, and it kind of gives us a vision of what is going to come later on in the season. Of course, what it sounds like is Eastwatch by the Sea. This is where a big battle is going to take place with the Whites, the White Walkers, and the Night's Watch. So I'm thinking this is going to be later on in the season, or perhaps mid-season, because I know the season is moving on really fast. So it was just really interesting to see. The Hound knows what he's getting into now. So are these 3 guys going to make it past this season? I highly doubt it. I have a feeling that all these guys are goners right now. So we're going to see how it all pans out. But I think, these guys, they're in for the good cause, but they know what's coming. And what I'm thinking is going to happen is that Beric he's going to live his last life, perhaps giving his life to someone else. Maybe Jon Snow once again. Does Jon die once again? I'm not sure. So we'll see. But it was a really cool scene because we get a little bit more insight into the mystery of the Lord of the Light. Okay, I already talked about how we get Jorah in a prison cell, and he mentions, has the queen landed yet? Something like that. Something to that effect. Has the queen landed yet? And then it cuts to Daenerys on the boat landing on Dragonstone with some really epic music, as it's really symbolic because Dragonstone was, of course, the place where her ancestors landed when they first came after the doom of Valyria. And she lands there, she kind of touches the beach in a really intimate moment, and it's the queen. She's landing. She's made her first strides towards getting towards her goal, the Iron Throne. It slowly gives us an image of Daenerys walking through Dragonstone and then making it into the planning room, something we've seen, or a scene that we've seen Stannis in multiple times throughout the previous seasons. And then we get those, what are going to be famous words uttered by a lot of people or a lot of YouTubers on these reviews. Shall we begin? And cut to black. So, guys, what did I think about this episode? I thought it was an amazing first episode, especially how it started. And given Game of Thrones' track record for first episodes of the seasons, they tend to be really slow and really predictable. What I liked about this episode is it gave us a lot. It gave us a really surprise and really amazing opening scene with Arya. But then it shows us the human side of a lot of these characters. And then it also kind of teases of what is going to come later on in the season. So I really thought it was a good episode. I was thoroughly entertained. It wasn't as slow paced as previous seasons. We're going to get, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters currently, and I'm betting that we're going to see all these characters kind of dwindle down into the core characters as we lead up into the next season. So guys, that is my review of episode 1 of season 7. Tell me what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please subscribe for more videos like this. Game of Thrones episodes will be coming every Sunday for you guys, and I'm going to try to put some theory and speculation videos out as well, so be on the lookout. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.